Hey, thanks for checking out Nuts and Bolts with Tone, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about how it is a great time to be a mechanic. And why is it a great time to be a mechanic? Well, because you don't have to spend as much money to buy yourself great quality tools as you used to. Back when I started, talked about this before. You had Craftsman. Harbor Freight wasn't really a whole lot. They didn't have a whole lot. You had Harbor Freight, which their stuff was really crappy. So pretty much it was like Craftsman or the tool truck. There was no in between. So today is a great time because there are a lot of great companies making a lot of great tools. And since there's a lot of companies making these great tools, that just tells you that it's not just one company making a cheap tool. There are quality tools to be bought out there without breaking your bank. Now, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about hex sockets, Torx sockets, tamper-proof, hex and Torx, and triple squares. Now, where did this video start? This video started like 8 months ago. I was doing a head job on an Audi. And, I was doing a head job on an Audi. And on the back of the head, I had a triple square bolt. I don't remember what size it was, but I think there was about this much room. And guess how big my socket is? That big. So what I had to do was I had to go over to the vise and I had to hammer my bit out of my socket. And then I had to go find a wrench and put it on there and turn it one turn at a time. And keeping that bit held tight, making sure I didn't drop the bit, making sure I didn't lose the bit. So this was a pain in the butt because not only did I have to knock it out of my socket, then I had to go find a wrench, I had to hold on to the bit. And so after I got done with this job, I was like, is there anything that I could have done different? And I found it. I had no idea these existed. I made a video about this because I was so excited. And that was from this company right here, CARBYNE Tools. All right. So they actually have a page on Amazon, and I did not know that then. I don't know if they had it then, but anyways, I found these sockets. I made a video about these sockets. Triple squares. I mean, you take this guy right here. Look at how big that is. When you look at my finger, look at my fingernail. That just shows you how big this socket is. This is smaller than a normal triple square socket. And I've been using this for a while, and I've never warrantied it. It's super sharp. Look at that. It's worked great. I've actually used this quite a bit. You see the paint marker on there because I actually use this quite a bit, and I had to mark it one time for a job. Anyways, so I love this set because, well, I love this type of socket because it's got a drive on the end. And so these here, these have the quarter and then 3/8. So the small ones are quarter, starts off quarter, and then 3/8 from here up. Or you could put a wrench on there. All right. So these are the triple squares. I've already done a video on these, but this brand right here, I'm very impressed with. So I've had this brand for a while, right? So since then, I've gotten a few other things. Now I got the other set of, I got these right here, the hex. Now these are the standard hex. Now the only thing I'm missing in all these stubby sockets is the metric hex. And it's only because of COVID and because of the ships and because of everything else. You can't get things moved, can't get shelves stocked as much. And the metric ones are sold out. But I need the metric stubbies. Those are actually I will use the most. The standard, we don't use those as much. But sometimes you need these, and it's nice to have the stubby. So there you go, CARBYNE Tools. I'm telling you, if you don't own any of these stubby sockets, the first time that you need one and you have it in your box, you're going to go back and think to yourself, I'm so glad I watched Nuts and Bolts with Tone, and I went and bought some. Because the other thing is, they're not very expensive. So now here is, so I actually am so impressed by this brand. This is the only hex and Torx that I use is this brand right here, the Carbine tools. I really like their hex and their Torx. So these are the standard. I showed these in a tool haul. These are the standard hex, deep hex. Now I use these. So one day I was doing a 7.3 power stroke, and on the oil rail there's two little tiny plugs, and they're like about, actually they are this size, 5/32. I could see the marking on the socket. So the 5/32 here. All right, you can see the size of this thing. So here's my fingers. That just shows you how long it is. So on the passenger side of the 7.3 power stroke, you don't have a lot of room, and so you can't use a long socket. So I grabbed my MAESTRO one, brand spanking new, just warranted, never been used once, and I used that on that side, and both screws or bolt screw, whatever, with an O-ring, that screw into the oil rail, both of them twisted on my socket, my brand new Matco socket, twisted in the socket, and I had to pull it off with pliers. Went to the driver's side. I thought, you know what? Let me give this a try. 5/32. Took it out. Screw came right off. Both oil plugs. Neither one of them, it didn't grab on either one of them. However, the brand spanking new Matco grabbed on both. That's not a coincidence. So anyways, so that's the standard ones. Now, what I really was missing was metric. What do I use the most? I use metric the most. I use metric almost all the time. Unless I work on a power stroke, I'm using metric hex sockets. And so now, Tecton, my original deep or extra long hex sockets have a set screw. And if that set screw backs off, then the bit pulls out of the socket. And then if you lose the screw, well, you're screwed. But anyways, I absolutely hate that. I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. So I got so tired of it that here we go. Now those Tectons are going bye-bye because no more set screw. Now we have the metric ones. So here, now we're going to bust these guys out, and look at that. No set screw. And if you use, so anytime you use a hex or a Torx, they're going to eventually twist. They're going to get loose, all right? I have Snap-on. Prior to this, all my hex and everything else was Snap-on. In the past 3 weeks, I've had to warranty 4 Torx bits because the Torx, they're twisting. So they start off here and then they start to twist. I have one warranted, then the next week another one, and I only used it like twice, and it's already twisting. That's Snap-on. Snap-on Torx bit twisting. 4 of them in the past 2 or 3 weeks I've had to warranty. That's really frustrating because I paid a lot of money for those. How much money, you ask? Well, let's talk about the money aspect. Just in these extra long hex sockets, an extra long set of metric hex sockets from Snap-on is $203. You know how much it is from Carbine Tools? $34. You're thinking, wow, well, it must be cheap. No, it's not cheap, and it works great. However, remember I told you, Snap-on, I'm having to get those warranted. Lifetime warranty, right? Tool truck comes, hey, I need this. And nowadays, with the way things are going, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, you get a new tool, right? Carbine Tools, nope. Same thing, lifetime warranty. You contact them, they send you one in the mail. Socket is there, no issues. So that's the extra long hex. Now I've got the metric and the standard. Now, these things work great. I like these if you need them a little bit longer. So I've got the small triple squares and everything else. And I showed these in a tool haul fairly recently. These are the triple square spline drive sockets. And so if we pull this one out here, this is a 16, an M16. That's all one solid piece. All right. Really like this. This would actually work really well for torquing head bolts. And I think I would try these. I know I wouldn't, the little stubby ones you wouldn't try, obviously, because you have to put an extension on there. But, and you don't want to put extensions if you're torquing head bolts if you can help it. Now, these are actually really cool. Haven't come across this very often. But I've never even seen this from Snap-on. So, you got the security Torx. Well, now we have the security hex. So if you ever get a hex that needs a security, there it is right there. So this is the set here of hex security, of security sockets hex. And this has the metric and the standard. And the standard goes up to 9/16. And the and 14 millimeter on the metric. All right. And then we're going to go all the way down to 2 millimeter. And all the way down to 5/64. So that is the standard security hex. Now here is the best part. So I'm going to go over some prices just to show you why you want to go this route. And you know what's crazy is Torx, hex, things like that. We don't even use those that often. I mean, unless you're an Audi dealer, an Audi tech, you're working on Audis and Volkswagens, you're going to use triple squares all day long. And Allens and things like that, unless you work on the Euro cars. But I mean, if you don't, you're not going to use triple squares. You're not going to use hex sockets and Torx sockets every single day. And you're going to have a lot of sockets you don't even touch for sometimes for months. You might have brand new ones you've never touched. But anyways, so the price of these things. A master set from Snap-on. Like I'm going to show you my last set here. This is a master set. Actually, I'll tell you the price of that in a minute. So long Torx. You get the extra long Torx from Snap-on, $416. The long Torx from Carbine Tools, $31. Same thing with the hex. 216 and 203 from Snap-on, $30 and $34 from Carbine Tools. They actually have a set of standard and metric long hex that you can get for $53. That's both sets. If you bought them separate, $64. Buy them together, $53 for a set of two. Snap-on, $420. Okay, there is no special set there. Carbine actually even has, if you're going to buy all of them, both metric, standard, and Torx extra long, $79. Can't beat that. Now the last one here. Now this set here will do you really good. This covers most things that you need. And it's going to cover one more thing I haven't talked about. All right, so a master set from Snap-on is 87 pieces. And it is $405. Now this is a hex and a Torx set. 87 pieces for $405. Carbine Tools, 84 pieces, so 3 less, $140. Lifetime warranty. Now, this comes in a really nice case. All right. Got nice, two little nice handles. Let's flip those up, unlock that, right? So now let's see what we got in here. We have a nice foam separator. All right. So let's throw that out. Obviously, they all have the Carbine Tools thing in there. Okay, so now this set is really cool. This set will do you really good. So what we have in this set is we have right here from 18 to 50, we have extra long Torx. 18 to 50. Now that is, and they're the same size, pretty much. Look at how close that is. That's almost the same size in the length. So this is the 18, this is the 50. Now, the next thing that this has, that you want these for convenience, you want these for Volkswagens where the bolt goes down through a hole in the intake and you don't want to have to go straight down with an Allen. But now this has wobble Allens. So this has, right here, I'll pull out a 6 millimeter. So these go from 4 up to 10. So now these are really nice when you're loosening something up, right? So you can't quite get to the bolt and you're here, okay, you've broke it loose, and now you're gonna just turn like this and it's gonna turn it out because it'll lock in. Now, the key with these is you wanna be careful. Now, I have these from Snap-on and I broke it off in a 6-liter on the throttle body. The bolts are Allens. And I snapped one of the ends of these off in one of the bolts of a Snap-on Allen socket. So just to give you an idea, that was Snap-on, it snapped right off. And then I had to extract it out of the bolt. But anyways, there's the long wobble. And then here, now this is going to cover everything that you need, hex and hex and Torx. So here we're going to go up to a 60 in tamper-proof Torx, okay? And we're going to go up to a, okay, so the tamper-proof goes up to 60. I'm trying to read this upside down, sorry. Oh, no, okay, I'm sorry. So the tamper-proof goes up to 60, and oh, okay, I'm looking at it wrong. All right, so the tamper-proof goes up to 60 right here. So that's the T60. And then the non-tamper also goes up to 60. So these are both T60s here, and that's tamper and non-tamper. And then you have here, you start off here, and we have all the Torx, tamper and non-tamper. So now you have your tamper-proof sockets and your regular Torx all in one. Now here's why it's important. If you're ever using a security Torx, a tamper-proof Torx, on a bolt that is tight, then that bolt will have a tendency, that socket will have a tendency to fail because the center is missing. So it is designed for a tamper-proof Torx. So that's the difference. If you're going to use that socket, make sure you're using a Torx, not a tamper-proof Torx. And then we've got the Allens, and the Allens go from 19 millimeter all the way up to 3/4. So we're going from the smallest, we're going to 6 millimeter all the way to 19, and we're going 7/32 all the way up to 3/4. So I mean, that is a big Allen right there. And then last but not least, we've also got the e-torx. There's the e-torx. Now this one goes up to a 24. Yeah. So it's got the size and everything is etched in there. So I've got some Matco sockets and there's no etching. It's only painted on. And so when the paint wears off, you pretty much just have to count the sockets on the rail. So that's a pain. So I like the etching. So now this set right here is $405 from Snap-on. Very similar. So anyways, I'm very excited about this. And I actually can't wait to get these out of this case. And I am actually going to put them on rails and put them on my cart. Because, you know, I don't work out of my toolbox and work off my cart. So there you go. Carbine tools. Now that is why it is important to be a mechanic in these days. You have more money for your family, more money for your own cars, more money for more tools. Hey, something costs $200. Now you bought it for $40. Now you got $160 to go buy something else or another tool, whatever. So anyways, I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to get notified of all my future content, which you're definitely going to want to see. Check me out on Instagram at Nuts and Bolts with Tone for my daily life as a mechanic, where you can see all these tools in use. I show them used regularly. Also, check out my merchandise store where you can get yourself a t-shirt, sweatshirt, coffee cup, water bottle. Support Nuts and Bolts with Tone. Hope you like this video. Leave a comment down below if you've tried any of these, if you've tried any of the carbine tools, and let me know what your experience is. I like to put everything through the ringer, and actually I have everybody at my work. If they come across something, we try it out to make sure that it meets our standards. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.